Boys, girls, babes, welcome back to the Jenaya Talks Caps podcast. So happy to have you all join us here today. And it is kind of a special day as today, I didn't even realize this actually, but it is the 100th episode today of the Jenaya Talks Caps podcast. And that is an exciting milestone for me personally because I never thought that I would have the attention span to make it to 100 episodes personally. So, kind of a big deal. And yeah, I guess if you really love something, then you'll have no problem loving it forever. That's what they say. And I definitely love doing this show. I love talking Washington Capitals hockey with you all. And here today, I have with me another gentleman who I know also loves talking some Capitals hockey. And so I could not be more excited to have him here with me today to be a part of this 100th episode. So, Gil, what is up, my friend? Why don't you just introduce yourself, tell everyone who you are and why you're here, and yeah, just how it's going, man.
Yes. So if my voice sounds familiar, hopefully it does to listeners of this podcast. Um, my name's Gil. I go by Blue Liner on Point on my show. Host a little show called the Powerplay Point podcast, and along with Jenaya, we happen to be, according to Feedspot.com, top five rated Washington Capitals podcasts. So. I am deeply honored to be on your 100th episode as you hit triple digits, and can't wait to get into a preview of round two, which a certain amount of pundits didn't think the Caps would get this far. So nice to talk about it.
A certain amount of pundits, indeed, pretty much all of them.
Yeah, I was trying to be nice.
Yeah. Now, I don't really know how to do all of the stuff that our good buddy Robbie knows how to do, like with all of the commands in chat and all of that super cool stuff that he always does so that people can follow you. So, okay, here, how about this? In lieu of the commands in chat, I command you all to go follow this man at the first chance that you get. As soon as you're done listening to this, go follow his show, Powerplay Point Podcast. And yeah, that will have to make up for not knowing how to do all of the other super cool stuff that Robbie does. But yeah, we are here today to talk about the upcoming second round series with the Carolina Hurricanes, which is going to be a clash of the Titans, I would say, like two pretty good teams going at it. Why don't we start with this? Why don't we, because I haven't talked to you since, like, why don't we start with, I just want to get your kind of like your wrap up thoughts on the Habs series first, and then we'll dive into the Carolina stuff.
Yeah, I can't lie. After game four, was it no, game three, that horrible ending. Yeah, a lot of nerves, a lot of not so great feeling when Logan went down with the injury, and basically it was just a bad game overall. I think they were kind of caught off guard. Is the phrase I want to use by the crowd. I think they kind of had an idea what to expect, but maybe not to that degree. But they fortunately turned it around, got it together, and it kind of goes without saying. It's been said so many times, but it goes without saying. We'll say it one more time. The play that turned it around, of course, Tom Wilson, the hit that led to the at the time would have been the go-ahead goal. So I mean, if we're thinking of a certain board game that we all played as kids, maybe not so much you sank my battleship, but Tom Wilson definitely sank the Carrier on that play.
That
Um,
he did. I was waiting to see like how long it was going to be before you broke out a dad joke. We made it. How,
can't
how many
can't
minutes are
resist.
we in right now?
Couldn't resist. It's kind of my thing. I probably killed about half the listeners, but if I did, I apologize. But now getting back to the series, that literally turned everything around. Uh, they You could feel the momentum just swing, the air coming out of the tension gone, all of anything bad gone, because to be honest, the Caps were playing kind of an uneven game up to that point. They were still up tempo, still getting the majority of good chances, but you were wondering how much of it was sustainable. And then that third period hit, and they really just took over. and closed it out. And then, of course, they came back home and closed the game in game five rather, in the third period of that game. Really, no doubt, the Canadians made it tight. They had some chances of their own, but they right now they just don't have the scorers other than their top line to to finish. That's probably their most glaring weakness right now. They've got decent defense, they've got very good goaltending, above average goaltending. They don't have finishing past the line one, and it showed. And you know, they're not a bad team. The Caps were just better on paper and on the ice, and they proved it. And they did what they had to do, which was lock it down and close it out. The Habs could only manage one lucky goal for the whole game.
And that's one thing
So
no one in the media wanted to admit coming into this series was that the Caps were the better team all season long. And nobody in the mainstream media wanted to admit that for some reason. There was a lot of talk about an upset that could happen, and even many people saying that it was even likely to happen. And to me, that was just crazy because it's like the Caps were not here by accident. Like they didn't fluke their way into the number one seed in the Eastern Conference. They didn't do it with like a negative goal differential or like, you know what I mean? Like they were top of the league in pretty much every single stat, in pretty much every single category, offense, defense, goaltending, everything. So for people to think that they found themselves there by accident somehow, that was pretty crazy to me. Like there was a lot of comparison. I know at least around here, like some people trying to chirp me up here in Vancouver, like, oh, they're last year's Vancouver Canucks, right? But to me, that was just a crazy comparison because the Canucks last year, like they led the league. They actually had a historical PDO, which is like the puck luck stat, right? So they actually really did luck their way into the season that they had last season, and you can see that now, obviously, with them missing the playoffs. But for the Capitals, like they were top of the board in like pretty much every single stat. So they were not here by accident. And so it was crazy to me that a lot of people were actually talking as if the Capitals were the underdogs against Montreal. And I think to your point, it was really just their depth that set them apart. Like Montreal has that amazing top line, but they really couldn't get anything going outside of that. Like Marty St. Louis pretty much had to double and triple shift them. That's why we saw them having the better third periods pretty much throughout the series because that's when he would start double shifting that line. But outside of that, they really couldn't get anything going. So I do think it is going to be a bit of a different story with Carolina because Carolina obviously is a very deep team as well. But yeah, I mean, like for Carolina, can I just say too, I'm really not excited for anywhere between 4 to 7 games of listening to Rod Brindamore whine in the media. I'm so not excited for that. It's been the last time we did it was the only time we did it, thankfully, was in 2019. And that was enough for me. Like that would have lasted me my entire life. And I would have been more than satisfied with that. But here we are, we get to do it again. And yeah, I mean, the Caps obviously number two team in the National Hockey League this season, 111 points. Carolina, they finished 10th in the league, 99 points, so 12-point difference. But yeah, just to start, just give me like your general thoughts on the Carolina Hurricanes as a team.
Well, to address the Rod Brindamore thing, hopefully he'll take a lesson from what happened in round one and maybe not whine so much, if at all, because that really worked out for the Canadiens, didn't it? All that whining they did. Um, but seriously, again, they are a quality team, not to be taken lightly. Of course, they have been renowned for their unique checking style that has sent many a team to their doom, and have, is the one reason they've gotten away with, um, you know, season after season of relative success without having, I would say, a true number one finisher. Sebastian Aho is probably an all-star in any man's league, but I don't know that I would call him a top caliber scorer by any chance. He's got very much a lot of talent. That defense has a lot of talent in it, but I mean, their scoring doesn't really scare me, and I don't want to I don't want to sound like I'm underestimating them, but now that they've had injury problems with their goaltending, you kind of have to call that into question now. The guy that they've had, as the backup the whole year, Kochetkov, he's now their starter because Anderson's hurt, and nobody knows how long he's gonna be out. So that's a question mark. Still, I think that the Carolina Hurricanes are very much capable of you know, doing what they can do. They got as far as the conference final last year. They've got a chance to do that. I'm not counting them out. There is no way this series is going less than 6 games. Um, but I think the Caps match up very favorably uh, uh, among a lot of different facets of the team. It's hard to call, but I like the Caps' chances in this one. I think as long as they don't fall into bad habits like we saw in the last series, and I'll key on one or two guys that were doing that kind of crap. Um, I like our chances. I like the Caps' chances in this one.
Yeah, I pretty much feel the same. Like it's funny you say they don't have any top scorer, Carolina, which is true. They had one for what, like 2 weeks though, Mikko Rantanen.
About 2 weeks, yeah, and then they
Short-lived
figure out
short-lived fairy tale there for a couple of weeks.
how do you do that? You put money down on a Ferrari, and then you realize, oh, you know what? I can't drive this thing. I want my money back.
You drive it off the lot, right? It loses half its value the minute you drive it off the lot, and then you turn
Right.
around and flip it 2 weeks later. It's insane. Insane. But no, I feel the same generally like about the Carolina Hurricanes team and the Caps' chances against them. I do think that what you said is exactly right. Like they have such a ferocious forecheck that I think that's like their biggest point of their game. That's their biggest strength, and the Caps defensemen are going to have to be ready for that. I do think this is a series where we're going to really miss Martin Ferravari for sure. Sucks not having him for this one because he is one guy who handles that so well, like that aggressive forecheck. He's just so calm and he just perfect breakout pass every time. Not afraid of getting hit, right? So he's one guy that I think the Caps are really going to miss. But to your point as well, they have that ferocious forecheck, but then they get the puck back and they get it out front, and a lot of the time they can't finish it. So like that's what's always stuck out to me about the Carolina Hurricanes is like every time I watch them in the playoffs, they always win like a round or two, but they've never been able to get over the hump of like beating the actual best teams in the league. And for me, that has come down to their finishing ability for sure. Like they just haven't been able to get enough goals. They have such a good defense, kind of shaky goaltending at times, and certainly even more so now, like you said, if Frederick Anderson's going to be out. I don't think we know that yet for sure, but there's a big drop off, at least in these playoffs, from Frederick Anderson, who's number one in the NHL in these playoffs in goals saved above expected, down to Peter Kochetkov, who's like way down here. So, for those listening on the audio version, I'm just showing with my hands what a big what a big gap it is. But yeah, Freddie Anderson in these playoffs has been really, really good. Historically, in past years, he hasn't always been that good. So it'll be interesting if he plays to see what he looks like. But so far in these playoffs, he's been very good. But there has been a really big drop from him down to Kochetkov. And I think the Caps offense this season has been largely really reliable. Like they've been pretty much automatic to score 3+ goals, right? So little bit of a dip at the end of the season, obviously, when they had already clinched. But I think they showed against Montreal and against goaltending in Montreal that was playing very, very well, whether it was Samuel Montembeault to start the series. He was amazing, tears his groin. Jakub Dobish comes in. He was really, really good too, honestly. Like he made some huge saves. So, but the Caps still managed to get enough pucks past both of them, right? So I think they've kind of proven to everyone at this point that it's now been 82 games plus 5 more in the playoffs that they really haven't had much trouble scoring at all. So hopefully they can keep that up against Carolina.
Yeah, I think they will. That's probably the knock against the Caps that all these analytical sites they don't seem to like their model. And for the benefit of again the audio listeners, I'm doing the my famous air quotes with my fingers that you can't see if you're listening. But I think, like you just said, they've proven that they can not only score, they can score at the right time when they need it the most. I think the only time the offense failed them was in Game 3, and they were kind of out of sorts. They weren't playing their regular game. My big fear with this team again is um, with the style of the Hurricanes that um, and this is something I saw in the first series, the first round series. Our defense has been prone to turning the puck over a lot in their own zone. And yes, exactly as you said, this is where we miss Martin Ferivari because he did not do that. Or, well, he doesn't do that a lot. And gosh, you do that against this team. They may not have a top of the line scorer, but you give them enough chances, they will hurt you with that. And that's probably my one big fear is that 2022 John Carlson is going to make an appearance and not go away. Um,
I have been like a huge defender of his over the last couple of years because, like, full disclosure, I thought the guy was awful defensively, like, earlier in his career. Like, I was a big proponent of, like, this guy sucks defensively because it was true. But then he really cleaned it up for a few years there. Like, he became like a really, really, really good two-way defenseman. And now, all of a sudden in these playoffs, I don't know what I'm watching with him. Like, is it just me? Like, he's been awful to me. I don't know if I'm just like, if I'm the only one seeing that, but like, he's just pizzas up the middle. Like, the puck's just flying off his stick. He doesn't know where it's going. Like, I don't know what I'm watching. He didn't do that all regular season, really. Like,
no, he didn't. And ever since Mitch Love was signed on to the staff last year, the coaching staff, he of course is in charge of the defenseman. His that side of his play has improved greatly. So no, I'm just as baffled as you are. I don't know where this all is coming from because we didn't see it hardly at all in the regular season. So now that it's showing up, I I don't know. I'm hoping it was just that series and it was just a blip on the radar, but I don't know.
I do know, like, I'm not trying to make excuses for him, but he didn't play the last several games of the regular season, right? Like, it started with he was supposedly just going to be having a maintenance day for one day for one game, and then he was out the next game, and then he was out the next game, and I think I even tweeted at Sammy Silver, the beat reporter. I was like, should we be worried about this? Like, because he was supposedly he's only going to be out for one game, and now he's sitting and sitting and sitting. So I'm wondering if he just looks like he's never been the fleetest of foot anyway. Like, he has other qualities that he doesn't really need to be the fastest guy, but to me, he looks even slower in these playoffs. Like, he's moving really slowly and it's getting him caught a lot. And because he keeps getting caught, he keeps flipping the puck to absolutely no one in the middle of the ice and it keeps getting picked off. And just D zone turnovers nearly killed them against Montreal. Like, I know they won the series 4-1, but a lot of those were tight games and they gave Montreal pretty much all of the offense that they got.
Agreed. I think you're right. I think somehow maybe he's lost a step, and that doesn't bode well, especially if he's expected to man the power play point. Um, One shot, one bad rebound, it's behind him, and they have a jailbreak. Yeah, that gets a little scary. Now it didn't burn them the last series, so again, it might have been a blip on the radar. Maybe a little more rest, maybe a little more, now that he's playing regular games again after that long layoff, maybe he's now more in sync. But no, that was probably the one thing I other than the injury, which thankfully wasn't as bad as anywhere near as we thought. But that was the one thing that I absolutely did not like about the Caps game. Even when they were playing from behind, I wasn't too concerned about the offense. But the defense has to take better care of the puck. And it's not just Carlson. He was just the worst defender at times.
Yeah, I thought it was like almost to a man, like all of them. Like Matt Roy had some turnovers that I'm like,
Yeah.
what the fuck is that? I've never seen this guy turn the puck over ever. Like, what is going on? And like Sandin didn't do it all season. He had a couple. Like TVR, like it was just he looked almost like last season TVR at points in the defensive zone. Like it was just I don't know, man. It was shocking. And I'm really hoping they can clean it up because that will kill them against the Carolina Hurricanes.
Well, I just thought of something that I think it was more that was happening in the two road games,
Mm.
and you don't have last line change, so you're the road team. You gotta play whoever's thrown at you. So hopefully, Coach Carberry saw that and is figuring out something as a countermeasure to that. And I'm sure Carolina picked up on that. They're going to throw out whoever they can to, be a serve as a distraction, could go after Carlson. But I did notice that Montreal did pick up on that, and they were sending people after him to hope that he would turn it over.
And they were
Um,
dumping the puck to his side almost every
yeah,
time,
yeah,
thinking that if they got it on his stick blade, it could be a turnover.
yeah.
I noticed that as well. So yeah, that's I don't know. I want to keep the faith because we literally did not see that all season from any of the six regular defensemen that played all season. Now, obviously, we don't have Faravari. Alexeyev's in there, but I actually thought Alexeyev had a great series. Like I thought he was really good coming in cold, like having not played pretty much all season. I thought he did a pretty admirable job under those circumstances. And yeah, I know his analytics were really good. However much you believe in that stuff, but yeah, I thought he did an admirable job just for the fact that like he basically hadn't played all season.
Yeah, I definitely agree. He was, to me, the easily the best out of the six who regularly played in this series. And nothing flashy, nothing, no no huge activations, no giant end-to-end rushes, nothing that's gonna, get the sound bite or the highlight or anything like that. Just simple, hang on to the puck, don't turn it over, take care of it when you're in your own end, keep it in the zone, keep the cycle going when you're in the offensive zone. Simple stuff like that. And he was consistent all 5 games. And I think if he can keep that up, maybe he's deserving of a little bit more ice time. I'd kind of like to see that.
Yeah, I agree. I thought he was really, really good. Um, Now you mentioned briefly injuries. I just have to say, my balcony is right over here. I was up on the ledge when Logan Thompson got run over. I really was. I I thought that was it. I freaked out. I own it. Everybody knows I freaked out. Oh man, that looked bad. And I really was having a day. I was having a time with that one. I thought, oh my goodness, like, because it's just been, I mentioned that in one of the post-game videos that I recorded. Like, it's just as a Capitals fan, you almost have like PTSD about these injuries at this point because like since 2018, it's just been like every year, as soon as we get to the playoffs, everybody's dead. Like it's crazy. Like it started in 2019. Actually, really, it started in 2018. They won anyway, but like we didn't have Backstrom for parts of that playoff run. We didn't have Kuznetsov for parts. Tom Wilson was suspended. We didn't have Burakovsky for parts of it, which he was a top six forward on that cup winning team. Like we had so many injuries that year, but we made it through it and we won anyway. And then 2019, TJ Oshie, right? And again, you and I have talked about this. Rod Brindamore tells the whole world that Oshie's faking it. He has a broken fucking collarbone. I don't know how you're faking that. I'll never get over that one. But yeah, TJ Oshie, Michael Kempney too. He got injured right before that playoff started. He was a top pairing defenseman for us at that time on the defending Cup champs. And then since then, it's just been like every year right as we get to the playoffs or as soon as we start the playoffs, we get a few of these like catastrophic injuries. And then we were already, obviously, we've already been without Alexei Protas. We know now that we don't have Martin Ferravari for the entire postseason, and so then to see Logan Thompson go down like that, I was really I was
No, yeah, right there with you. And it was so traumatic because it looked so bad, and it was self-inflicted because it was Strome who ran into him, and it looked to me. My first thought was concussion, as I mentioned when I did my own commentary on it. Then to find out, possibly well, some sort of tweaking to his leg, and he didn't wasn't able to put any weight on it when he was skating, and then limped down the tunnel. And you know, you as much faith as you want to have in your backup, and we have a very capable backup in Charlie Lindgren. Um, you weren't all that sure that he was going to carry the load like Logan Thompson had been, but fortunately he didn't have to. Um, but shifting gears a little bit, you mentioned Protus, and I think if the one bit of comfort we can take in that he's coming back is that clearly the Caps weren't as good as they could be, and I know you saw this too at 5-on-5,
yes.
and I think he puts them over the top when it comes to 5-on-5 play, even against this squad, who can match up with anybody. But now that he's got a game under his belt, and now that he could probably play any with any line combination at all, although why you'd want to mess with the chemistry too much, probably I don't know. That's coach's decision. But now that he's back, I think even if he doesn't score a goal, I think the Monumental guys nailed it. His defensive contributions were key to them locking down that game five.
Oh my
They
God.
did not have Canadians did not have any answer for his back checking at all.
It's so many tiny little details that he does that maybe people who aren't like crazy, crazy into hockey don't notice, but like it's so many small plays. Like he disrupts so many plays for the other team, like when they're in our defensive zone. He gets in the way. Like he's got such a long reach. He just breaks up all these passes and plays. And there was one particularly on it was on Montreal's first power play of the game when it was 0-0. And he poked a puck right before it got to someone's stick for a wide open net. And that, like, it would have been 1-0 for Montreal. And then maybe they start freaking out a little bit, right? What happens instead? We kill off their power play. We get one. Ovechkin scores. It's 1-0 for us instead of 1-0 for Montreal. Like, he just does all of these tiny little things. I think obviously he's huge at 5-on-5. Like, he's literally one of the best 5-on-5 players in the entire National Hockey League. Like, this kid has come out of absolutely nowhere from last season to now. He's now literally one of the best 5-on-5 players in the entire National Hockey League. He, like, what did he finish with the injury? He finished with 66 points, I think, right?
Sounds about right.
In 76 games, I believe. And they're all either at 5-on-5 or shorthanded. Like he doesn't see a minute, a millisecond of power play time, which is kind of insane to think about. But yeah, all of his points are either 5-on-5 or shorthanded. Like he outscored guys like Connor McDavid, Sidney Crosby at 5-on-5 this season. Like he's so good at 5-on-5. So I think when you take a player like that out of the lineup, and a guy like Marty Ferravari too, like of course you're going to see some defensive letdown a little bit. So I'm hoping now that with getting Protus back, not only 5-on-5 too, but like the penalty kill, he's a beast. Like he should really, really help the penalty kill. Him and Tom Wilson out there together is like menacing for other teams. Like you feel almost like you're gonna get. It's almost like you know what it reminds me of. It reminds me of when the Boston Bruins had Patrice Bergeron and Brad Marchand out there, and how they were just like menaces, right? Like you felt like you were going to get scored on your own power play all the time. And I feel like it's become that now for the Caps when Tom Wilson and Alexei Protas are out there. Like I saw a stat just before the regular season ended that when those two are out there together, they score a shorthanded goal. It was for like one shorthanded goal for every 12 minutes of power plays that the other team has. So like they're like 1 in 6 on the other team's power play of scoring goals, which is insane to think about. So it just puts
Crazy.
something else like in the other team's head that like you have to be a little bit more careful on your own power play when those two guys are out there together. And Carolina's power play, by the way, is not very good. So it was good in the first round against New Jersey, but we know what New Jersey's lineup looked like in these playoffs. Like they did not have their full team, not even close. So I think they had I don't know what it ended up being, maybe like two regular defensemen and the rest were AHL guys. Like they were really, really, really banged up. So I don't know how much you can read into that, but like for the 82 games of the regular season, I'm just looking at it here. Carolina's power play was not very good at all. It was 25th in the league, 18.7%. So, and that's again, that's like that's an area that every year when I watch Carolina in the playoffs, that's what lets them down. It's their power play and just no goals in general. So I think that's an area, like we'll talk a little bit about areas that the Caps can potentially try to expose in this series, but I think that's definitely one area that they can at least get Carolina thinking like, hey, we're a threat to score shorthanded too.
Yeah, I didn't much care for special teams in the first round at all for the Caps. But yeah, I think like you said, that's going to improve. I do think they have the edge 5-on-5 against this team. It's a slight edge, but it's enough of an edge um, to get them into the third round, I think. So you said you had some keys you wanted to go over. So your show, your lead. So I maybe you had some. I'm thinking you had some ideas of what we need to look at. So
Yeah, it's funny. I'm so used to doing this show by myself that like when I'm on a Zoom call like this, my brain just goes to like I'm on Sports on the Hill, and so I'm like waiting for somebody else to like, you know, keep it moving. Like usually Robbie's like the one keeping it going. But no, I just wanted to get into like even let's start with this, like just a rapid fire, like who do you think has the edge? So um sound good?
yeah, yeah, go for it.
So offense?
Offense, Caps, easy.
Yeah, I agree. Defense?
Slight edge to the Caps.
Okay.
I
Uh
don't like. I do not like a 40-year-old Brent Burns eating up that many minutes. He's not bad, but I think they play him way too much.
Yeah, and people have to remember too, like everyone kind of has it in their minds that like Carolina's defense is such a scary defense, but like they lost a lot of guys back there over the offseason. A lot. Like they don't have Brett Pesci anymore. They don't have like they really got depleted over the offseason. So it's not the same Carolina Hurricanes defense that we've seen for many years too. So I agree with that. I think there's some weak spots there. Goaltending?
Goaltending, oh, Caps, easy.
For me too. Yeah, I honestly I don't care what Frederick Anderson's stats say so far. New Jersey had nobody in their lineup, and I have watched this guy in the playoffs for enough years that he's gonna at some point. So you just hope it'll be in this round. But yeah, no, I've seen enough of that guy that I'm not a. It's the same reason why, like, and I hate to say this because I know a lot of people who are Winnipeg Jets fans, but it's the same reason that I cannot bring myself to pick the Winnipeg Jets ever because I don't know if you watched that game last night. Getting off
Oh, I
track.
did. Oh, I did. And yeah, that was kind of sad to watch.
Yeah, it
It
was
really was.
like
Oh,
kicking a puppy out there. Like
it,
just
it yeah. And then it's an old well you play but it's an old goaltender's crutch. Can't stop what you can't see, but there were some stops he really needed to have. Did Hellebuck, and he just no excuse for those.
couple that went
Yeah.
right through him. And that's kind of what I think with Anderson. Like I think he's always kind of shown that in the playoffs. Like if you get one on him like that, he kind of gets in his own head and
Yeah.
starts to kind of get leaky a little bit. So we'll watch for that. We'll see if he's even in the series or not. I don't know. I haven't heard one way or the other for sure. I think they said something about him being potentially on the men, but it's not for certain yet, or like whether it would be for game one or what. But we'll see how that goes. Power play.
Power play. Slight edge to the Caps, but it comes with a condition. They're going to need to tweak it a bit. Ovi can't be the one that does all the heavy lifting, even though when he does, they're successful. But he can't be the one that carries the day for them when they're a man up. He just can't. They're going to key on him, and they're going to do their best to shut that down. And probably 95% of the time they'll be successful. So somebody, whether it's Strome, somebody is going to have to pick up the scoring slack on the man advantage.
I was talking about this with somebody the other day. It's like I just wish they would stop trying to force feed it to him. Like just hit him when he's actually open. But the reason why, like, because somebody was asking me, like, well, why do they play? He's 39 years old. Why do they play him 2 minutes on the power play? And it's because he's such a massive distraction out there. Like, he's such a massive decoy. Like, he's the NHL's all-time goals leader. Everybody shadows him, right? They one-on-one shadow him. So when teams are doing that, that creates a 4-on-3 for the rest of the guys, which a 4-on-3 is theoretically supposed to be way better and way easier to score on than a 5-on-4 because you have more space. So I would like to see the rest of the Caps take that 4-on-3 and do something with it. Don't keep trying to pass it to Ovechkin, who has a guy shadowing him. And Ovi kind of sometimes he just kind of backs away from the play because that guy on the opposition is going to follow him. And then it literally creates a 4-on-3. So somebody else has to take advantage of that and make a play. That's what I was seeing in round one.
And that all, to build on that point, that all can only come with more puck movement.
Yep.
They've and it frustrates me to no end that when they start their cycle, they're four or five guys who are standing still. Okay, I will defer when Ovi does it. That's what he's supposed to do. That's what he's supposed to do is drift away, get open for the one timer. That's his calling card. Hard to argue with 300 plus, power play goals, which is far and away the regular season record. Okay, he gets a pass, but you got four other guys that can really move and move the puck. And if you just stand still and just play catch for 2 minutes, it's not, you're making it easy for the other team's penalty kill. I want to see more movement. I want to see more cycling. Just get a little bit more creative. They gotta. I think this is going to be a series where you have to get any edge you can, however small. And if they manage maybe one power play goal in 5 or 6 chances per game, then that might turn out to be the difference per game. So they really have to get it
Whoa,
going.
whoa, whoa. When are the Washington Capitals getting 5 or 6 power plays per game?
I, I, I
Oh,
do.
that's wishful thinking, buddy.
It is. I admit it. But if they ever do, yeah, the law of averages says they can put it away. But no, they're. It's probably the way the officiating's been. My God. But that breaks down to a half a goal per 3 chances, which is what more likely they're going to get. So
And I
you
totally
you
agree.
get the
Like, I
idea.
think this series is going to be super, super tight. It's
Yes.
two really good teams. You need any advantage that you can get. And I think special teams is going to be massive in this series for that reason, because I think the teams might kind of cancel each other out at 5-on-5, and it might just be who gets the power play goal that day,
Yes.
who
Definitely.
makes the big play on the penalty kill, right, to save a goal. So I think special teams is going to be absolutely massive in this series because I just think it's going to be so tight, like probably a bunch of 1-goal games and just trading punch for punch. And whoever can get that edge is probably going to win the series. So um, I think it was completely different against Montreal because I think what we saw in the series against the Canadiens was that for the large part, special teams for the Caps were garbage, if I'm being honest. But they were able to overcome that by being the way better 5-on-5 team, right? So they were able to like make it so that special teams didn't matter essentially because they were so much better at 5-on-5. They were able to outscore their problems that they were having on special teams. They were able to outscore those at 5-on-5. I think that's going to be way harder to do against Carolina. I think it's going to be way more even and tightly contested. And so, like, you might need to find a big power play goal, or you might need your penalty kill to go 5 for 5 that day, or whatever it may be. And the Carolina Hurricanes, by the way, the last one I was going to ask you was penalty kill, but I think I know the answer.
I like now that Protus is back. I like the penalty kill. I don't think Carolina's is terrible, but I think we've got the better skaters overall on that end. And you mentioned this earlier. It might come down to a shorthanded goal being the difference um, when special teams is called upon to break that tie when everything else is even. I like I like our chances in that regard, even though uh Faravari not being there kind of hurts. Not kind of hurts. That hurts a lot. I don't think he was given enough credit for what he did on the penalty kill this year.
He was top
Um,
top five in the NHL this season, shorthanded ice time.
yeah, you're gonna notice that he's gone. He's led the team in block shots. So there's that element that's gone also. So yeah, that's going to hurt, but I still think they've got the better skaters, which is the foundation of a good penalty kill. So I give the edge to them there as well.
Cool. Yeah, I think it'll be really interesting to watch because I'm just looking here. I knew Carolina's penalty kill was really, really good, but it was actually first in the National Hockey League this season, ahead of the Devils, Canucks, Stars, and then the Caps. So the Caps were top five as well. So two really, really good penalty kills. But I was thinking the same thing that like it could come down to something like a shorthanded goal, and I think the Caps in that regard, like they have the better skaters in terms of like pressuring you that way for sure. Um, and plus, I don't know. I just our penalty kill, like even without Faravari, it's just I don't like Carolina's power play. So I think that I give the edge to the Caps in that regard, just because like I'm not scared of Carolina's power play, if that makes sense.
I think they had a false sense of oh, we're a lot better than we thought we were against New Jersey, who, like you said, they were. That wasn't even their 1A lineup out there. Uh, even with a couple of guys they managed to get back towards the end, they weren't all that good. And the fact that they took the last game to two overtimes was really kind of surprising. Um, but yeah, I think maybe they're going to need to do their homework and see if they can tweak their power play as well. But I think it's going to come down to who has the better penalty kill to cancel out the other team's power play is where the series may be won and lost. Now, so I'm going to throw in an extra category in here, and that's intangibles. Um, I think the Caps are well, they're coming in on a high here. And I don't see them losing that even with this long layoff. And you got a few guys on there that they were there in 2019. They remember what happened then. So I think they've got that in the back of their minds. Also, they have the home ice advantage.
That is
So
huge. That is huge in this series. Carolina is not a good road team this season.
yes,
They have not been a good road team all season long. So this is one series where home ice could potentially be really, really big.
even though I think if this thing goes seven plus any overtime games, I'm going to have to do
Ugh.
something about my blood pressure medicine, but I'm not anticipating that. But yeah, buckle up, guys. It's going to be it's going to be pretty exciting either way.
When that first game in the Montreal series went to overtime, I was like, are you kidding me? We're really gonna do this again.
right from the get-go. And then Ovechkin wins it,
Yeah.
which doesn't that give you a sense of, hey, team of destiny,
Yeah, it did
Ovechkin
actually.
waits till now to get that first playoff OT goal.
Because what happens like every other year other than 2018 is, the Habs got a couple of kind of cheapy goals to tie that game. I believe it was one on the power play and then one was a stupid bounce, if I'm remembering correctly. But yeah, they get a couple of cheapies to tie that game. And any other year other than 2018, we lose that game in overtime. 100%. Like,
Yeah.
just the amount of overtime defeats that we've had where we've completely outplayed the other team during the Ovechkin era has been insane. So for him to get that goal and get us off on the right foot in the series, I just felt like that was really big. And it kind of made me feel like this year is a little bit different because normally previous 10 years, we probably lose that one and we're probably down 1-0. And then we're probably freaking out for game two on home ice against a way lower seed, right? So
Yeah.
big, 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 big goal. And yeah, intangibles, like you said, like that's kind of part of what I wanted to get to too was like because I wanted to ask you what are the areas that you think that the Caps can really like give me like something specific that you think the Caps can really target and take advantage of because I know what mine is and it's probably would be considered like an intangible, but
Um, I think the this is an old, very old movie reference, but uh, Carolina's offense is very much the mouse that roared. I'm not scared of their offense at all. I think there's going to be times where they're going to have to weather the storm, pun intended. That they're going to be caught in their own zone, pinned in their own zone. They're prone to do that, but I, you know, they've got some decent players, but they don't have that guy that can kill them. Like even a Suzuki or a Caulfield. They don't even have anybody of that caliber. Aho is a very good player, but I think of him more as a pass first type of forward,
mm,
not a finisher. They don't have anybody up and down that lineup I would call a true finisher. Now their decor, they got some guys that can really move the puck. That's where they're dangerous offensively. But I'm not really scared of them. So when it comes to those points in the game where they're caught in their own zone, against Montreal, yeah, I was more than a little bit nervous. Against this team, I don't think there's really all that much cause to worry, and all they've got to do is really absorb it and just do what they can to keep it less than 2 minutes per cycle, and then turn it the other way, which they're very good at. Um, I don't know how much of a quote unquote intangible that is, but that's something for Caps fans to watch and say, oh, okay, this is nothing to worry about. Because I mean they don't really have much better than a pop gun offense.
just let them pass it around the zone for a minute and a half until they pass themselves out of the zone.
Literally,
Yeah, but
yeah.
yeah, I know what you mean. That's kind of their game. No, I'm with you. Like they're and hey, like we might end up looking really stupid if Carolina comes out and scores like 5, 6 goals, then whatever. But to me, I'm in agreement. Like their offense really doesn't scare me. The area that I think that the Caps can really beat them up, literally, is the same thing that I said with Montreal. They're a smaller team. They don't have a lot of big guys. Carolina, even they don't even have like a Josh Anderson or like an Arbor Jackeye that they can put in the lineup halfway through the series. And those guys did absolutely nothing to deter the Washington Capitals. So the Capitals do not give a fuck, not one. So like they made really easy work of Josh Anderson and Arbor Jackeye. Even Ryan Leonard, the rookie, like he's out there like he's which goal was that? I believe it was the Jacob Chikrin goal. Uh, Chikrin scores off of an Arbor Jackeye giveaway in the Habs defensive zone. Like he just pizzas it up the wall. Um, Caps get the puck, immediately score, and Ryan Leonard is like a beeline, like straight right over to Arbor Jackeye, and he's like, ha! like laughing right in his face, and he shoves him, and like this kid doesn't give a shit. So it's really great to see that even from a rookie. Like he's just a perfect player. He's got the perfect personality and the perfect identity, I think, to come into this Caps team because they all kind of play that way. Like they're an in-your-face team and they like to bully teams, for lack of a better word, with their physical style and how big they are and how strong they are. And so I think you saw them do that to Montreal, and they really did it to Montreal. And Montreal has a couple of those bigger guys, but it wasn't enough. And Carolina really doesn't have any of that. So I think Carolina is another small team that you can really take advantage of that way. And that's what I said before the Montreal series. Like, to me, as long as the Caps do that and they don't get away from that and they continue with that super heavy physical style that's hard to sustain throughout the entire playoffs, no doubt. But they did it in 2018 and the Florida Panthers did it last year, right? Like, that's how some of these teams win when you're just bigger and stronger than everybody else and you're actually willing to play that way and impose it on people and be physical and finish every check. And I thought the Caps did a really, really good job of that in round number one. And so I want to see them do that again because I think, same thing that I said before the Montreal series, I think as long as they do that, they're going to win the series because they can hurt them, like literally hurt them. They can hammer their defensemen when they get on the forecheck, make them turn pucks over, beat them up over the course of it. It's not one game in January or February, right? It's a 7-game series. So when you're a defenseman who's taking those hits all series long, by the time you get to like game 3, game 4, they're really starting to add up. Like they're really starting to take a toll on your body. And the Caps did that all series against Montreal. They just didn't quit with it. And I think we saw that even by the time we got to game 4, game 5, Montreal was already getting worn down.
Definitely. And I don't think it's going to be to the extent that it was in the first series, but I think the Caps will be called on at some point to rein in and be disciplined. Play not only a disciplined game, but watch what happens after the whistles. Um, they've got some agitators to be sure. You mentioned one of them already, Leonard, who's getting to be one. Um,
He
didn't
drives
see that.
everybody
Didn't
nuts, that kid. You
did
can
not
see
see that as being part of his game, but I absolutely love it.
he drives everybody nuts. You could see like Arbor Jacki was seeking him out like for the rest of the series. Like he was under Arbor Jacki's skin. This little 20-year-old, like he was right under there. He had burrowed right under there. And yeah, he was driving them nuts. I love to see it.
Um, so that might be an element that presents itself, but I don't think it's going to be as much as it was in the first round. At least I hope it's not. But even if it does, you know, Carolina will do. Rod Brindamer will present everything as much as he can to. Oh, look at our little team. They're getting bullied by these big guys who are shoving us around and now, sooner or later, you got to be tired of hearing that if you're a ref, all the whining. So that might end up backfiring on him, I think.
It's shocking that he still gets calls. To me, it's
It is.
shocking because he cries more than anybody. Like it's unbelievable how much the guy whines and cries and bitches. So I'm shocked every time that they continue giving him the calls.
No, I don't get it. You know what else I don't get? I don't get the whole uh the patch of white on his hair. You never heard of Just for Men? Come on.
Do they still make
What
that stuff?
I think so. Not that I need it, but I'm old, but I'm not that old yet. Um, but I think, and that's the other part that I think that's the other part we need to kind of compare. Both the coaches, yes, I think they compare very well. The fact that Carberry knows his team and has been getting the absolute most out of whatever roster he's given, no matter what. Um, I got to give him the edge. I'm going to be the homer here. I got to give him the edge in that, come what may, they have come out and been competitive in every game they've played so far.
And been so good at making adjustments when something doesn't work or when they have an off game. Like their record when they've lost a game, their record in the next game after that is unbelievable. Like they
They're
almost
unbeatable.
Yeah, they're pretty much unbeatable. They almost never lose two in a row. So they were talking about that like after we lost game three, right? And everyone was kind of like, well, that's regular season. Like, let's see what happens in the playoffs. And what happens in the playoffs? They come out in game four, they play a great game and they get the win, and it still holds true, right? They're pretty much unbeatable when they lose that prior game, and especially when they lose. But I thought that was really interesting that especially when they lose a game by like the rare times that they've lost a game by multiple goals, they're like literally pretty much unbeatable the next game, which just shows
Yeah.
you that he has a handle on these guys and he knows how to get them back to playing their best, and he doesn't let it slide, right? Like he's on them, like we can do much better than that and we're
Yes.
going to fix it right away. And I think that's so important in a playoff series, because when you start getting in trouble is when you let that bad game carry into the first half of the next game. And then you're down by 3 goals already. And then all of a
Yeah.
sudden down in the series, right? So yeah, Carberry, Jack Adams, finalist. If he doesn't win that in a landslide, there's something seriously, seriously wrong, because to me, it's like not even close. Nobody thought that the Caps were even going to be a playoff team, let alone the number one seed in the Eastern Conference. And then we're hearing that they're going to like lose in five to Montreal. So I don't know.
Yeah. I will be very surprised and yet not. There are quite a few coaches that did a pretty good job, but when you consider where they began at the end of last year to now, I don't think any team is coming, as far.
Yeah, it's the expectations, right? Like everybody knew that Winnipeg was going to be good. So Scott Arniel, he's up for the Jack Adams as well, but everybody knew they were going to be good. And they finished just like a couple of points ahead of the Caps, right? Whereas everybody thought the Caps were not even going to be a playoff team. So to me, that's a pretty big difference, just like expectations of the team, what people think their roster is, and then what they actually turned out to be. And I think Marty St. Louis was the other finalist, right?
He is.
That was a bit of a surprise, I think. Most people
Well,
had
I,
it.
I think, yeah, I think the fact that they snuck into the playoffs helped his case.
Yeah, because I was hearing all season Dean Evison, like the old Caps assistant coach.
Yeah, yeah. That was that. I hate to put it this way, but Columbus was a surprise most of the year. They came pretty close to making the playoffs. So yeah, he was considered as well.
My dog just came home, so
Yeah, my cat's starting to get a little antsy.
he's making some making some noise over here. It's very distracting. Like he just came right up under my legs and he's like trying to climb up here. I'm like, no, no, not now. But yeah, we can wrap it up. I don't know how long we've been on here. There's no timer on this thing.
Uh, I think good 40, 50 minutes at least.
Okay, that's pretty good. Yeah, my episodes are usually like half hour or so, so it's much easier to talk longer when you're talking to someone though.
Yeah, yeah. Tempus fugit, time flies, as they say. So yeah, this was awesome. This was fun. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, it's so much fun to do it like this, like having just kind of more of a conversational with someone who also loves the Caps and knows the Caps and is really passionate about the Caps. And like I love talking hockey with people who not only are passionate but like also know what they're talking about, and you definitely know what you're talking about. So it's nice to be able to go back and forth and just trade ideas. And I think we agree on most things. Like
Most things.
most things. There was a couple that we didn't agree on when we did your off-season episode. I remember that. Cole
Yeah,
Hudson is one.
yeah. I'll gladly admit to being wrong about that.
Well, I mean, for right now, we'll see when he gets to the NHL what he looks like. But yes, for right
I
now,
don't think if
you
he's
were
anything like his brother, I don't think he'll disappoint.
you were very wrong. Yes. Just
It
kidding.
happens.
But no, I've been wrong several times as well. When you make as many comments as we make doing these shows, you're bound to be wrong a few times. That's a certainty.
You're going to
So
miss the net every now and again.
yeah, exactly. So let's wrap it up with I really don't like to do these, but I'm gonna ask you anyway. Let's wrap it up with let's get your prediction. Caps
Oh,
versus Hurricanes.
yeah, I don't like doing these, but yeah, let's oh, my head, no, my heart says Caps in six. Uh, five if they can really, dominate in games 1 through 3. My head says Caps in seven, and at least one of these games is going to go to OT. I'll guarantee you that.
Did you see those stats on overtime? Like it was I can't remember if that was before the game against Montreal that went to overtime, the one that Ovechkin scored the winner. I can't remember if it was before that game or after that game, but it was like playoff overtime games, like the amount of times that teams have gone to playoff overtime over the last however many years. And the Caps were in first place with like, I think it was like 17. And the second place team was the Bruins with 8.
That doesn't surprise me. That and thank God it hasn't been as bad this year. That's the one thing they probably improved on a lot is, but that in past years, yes, closing out games was a problem. That's why so many games going to OT. I don't see that being a problem this year.
I did kind of hate the way that they were playing the third periods against Montreal, though. Like just kind of sitting back, like
Yeah,
defense. I think we can thank Logan Thompson that more of those games weren't going to overtime because he made some unbelievable. His numbers in the third period are insane. Like he just does not let goals in the third period.
no, I would love to see. I would love to see them, not be so passive. Now, last 5 minutes, different story. You kind of really don't have much choice but to absorb the attack, and I think that's another area where the Caps have quietly gotten better.
Yeah, definitely.
Is shutting it down at that critical point in the game and not relying on their goalies so damn much.
Yeah, they were actually better like in the final 5 minutes of these third periods. Like I'm more so talking about like the first 15 of the
Yeah,
third period,
yeah.
like just sitting back and like just waiting to see what the other team is going to do. And we're just going to try to play like, solid defense, I guess, in our own end for the whole period. Like that's not what I want to see. Like especially against Montreal, it was driving me nuts because every game it was like you just dominated these guys for the first two periods. You didn't let them have even a sniff at your net. Like just go do that again for the last 20.
And now what? You're going to be a gentleman, open the door for him, and let him walk in? And
Yeah,
what the
exactly.
hell?
Yeah, I don't know. And it was weird because like that's obviously not the game plan because Carberry was like getting quite animated about it. Like he was pissed about it. Like he's like,
Yeah.
I don't understand like why we're doing this. Like so it's clear that that's not like planned out. Like that's not what he wants them to do, but they just keep doing it. So I don't know. Hopefully they can get better with that. But I think overall, like against Montreal, it was a really good showing by the Caps. And if we get more of that against the Hurricanes and then just add a little bit better on special teams, I think they'll be in pretty good shape.
I think so too.
My prediction, I really hate doing these. Um, I feel like it's just such a jinx. My my heart, I'll do what you did. My heart says Caps in 6, that they'll win it in Carolina. My head that I don't know, people say your head knows better than your heart, but I don't know if that's true. I don't know if I really believe that. I've
Not
never,
always. Not
yeah.
always.
Uh, but my head does say Caps in 7. I think it's going 7. I just think it's two really proud teams who really both think that they really deserve to be in the third round and they
Yeah.
both really want to get there. And they both feel like they're good enough to get there. And there's not really like an underdog in this series, even though they're claiming that the Caps are like this massive underdog. But
Well, they can play that to their advantage, I think.
definitely, yeah.
No.
I think they've always been a team that kind of loves the underdog mentality.
Yeah.
And I feel kind of honestly relaxed because like I was just saying this to somebody the other day, but um I don't feel nervous for this second round series. I think because we're not the favorite. Like I feel kind of course I still want to win, but like I feel more calm. Like I was nervous going into the series against Montreal because I was just kind of like, please just don't do what everybody says you're gonna do. Like I just didn't want to listen to it. Like oh, they weren't for real, they choked, blah 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 blah, whatever. So I was more nervous definitely for the Montreal series. This series I think is just going to be a really, really good series between two really good teams, and may the best team win.
Yeah, definitely. For me, the first round was all about and I'm a big history guy, but the I think for a lot of us older fans, the whole thing was just don't let happen what happened in 2010. And the word was they got halaked. And it came close to that at times, but it's a different team, it's a different season, different mentality, different ability. And the one thing you hear over and over again is that when they get behind, there's no panic, and they showed it again. So
Yeah, comeback wins, man.
yes,
First in the National Hockey League and comeback wins in the regular season with I think what was the final count? 25, I believe.
20, that sounds about right. 25,
Yeah.
26.
And then they did it
And
a couple times in these playoffs already too. So
yeah, and easily the best third period team in the league. So I think they've like you mentioned before, and that they got that going for them. So that I think above everything is going to be what carries them.
yeah, they're high scoring in the third period, and their goaltender does not give up goals in the third period. So that'll
Yep.
create a very high goal differential in
Yeah.
third periods. But yeah, we look forward to this series between the Carolina Hurricanes and the Washington Capitals. It starts on Tuesday. We don't know what time yet, still, I believe, right?
Still to be announced. I would have to assume 7. It's possible. It may not be until 8. Sometimes ESPN likes to delay things until 8 p.m. Eastern. So figure one of those two times, 7 or 8 Eastern, for puck drop for game one, but definitely Tuesday evening.
Excellent. Okay, so are you going to any of the games, by the way?
I wish I were. If any of them fall on a weekend, I will try. But yeah, I during the week going to a game is yeah, not very good for me at all.
Well, the traffic's probably bad, right?
Well, the traffic's bad, and I got a job where I got to be there pretty early the next morning. So
Yeah, that's tough. Weekends only. Well, yeah, I just wanted to thank you so much on air. Like I'll thank you off air too, but just thank you so much for coming on and doing the episode. Like I said, I didn't even realize coming into this that it was my 100th episode, but I was so happy once I realized that because I couldn't think of someone that I'd rather talk to for my
no,
100th episode. So
thank you so much.
yeah, and I love having you on. I love doing your show that we did back in the off season too. It's just it's a lot of fun to, like I said, get to talk hockey with somebody who's so passionate about the Capitals. And why don't you just remind everyone one more time just where they can find you and your show?
Sure. We're just about everywhere podcasts are distributed. Podbean is our main distributor, but we're on Apple Podcasts. Um, um, uh, the main the online the streaming service just fell out of my head. Um,
Spotify?
Spotify. There you go. Good God. You can stream us on Spotify, all kinds of services like that. If you can't find us directly, you can download us direct on our website, blueliner77.podbean.com. So yeah, just Google us and you'll be able to find us. And yeah, please, if you really love us, subscribe. Could use more subscribers all the time. And yeah, look, the one thing about our show is we have an open door policy with fans. Now, we don't feel like I mean, we love getting stars on if we could, but we want to talk to the fans. We want to talk to the people that are there watching the games, that are sweating it out with us. So if you want to come on and have your say, just drop us a line. I'll go ahead and drop my personal email out here. It's glhallowed at yahoo.com. And just send me an email. We're on Facebook as well. We've got a very interactive chat room. So just, contact us one way or the other. You want to come on the show, you want to talk Caps hockey with us. Like I said, open door policy. We'd love to have you on.
Sounds good. Yeah, it's way more fun definitely doing it like this, like having a conversation and getting to hear what other people think. I'm always just me, myself, and I, right? Like I'm always doing it by myself. Like I was telling you, I just figured out this Zoom recording thing literally today. So first time, but no, I'll probably do it more because it's fun doing it like this. And yeah, just wanted to thank everyone so much for listening as always. Can't wait for this second round series to get started. We'll be back on air for that, and I'll be doing the post game videos as well for every Washington Capitals game during the second round and hopefully beyond as well. We'll see what happens, but fingers crossed. And yeah, if you obviously, if you are listening in audio only, I just want to remind everyone again that this podcast is now available video version as well on YouTube. So that's a new thing, like just the last 5 or 6 episodes, I believe, was when I started it. So you can get it if you so choose. You can get it in video version now on YouTube as well. That's just under the same name, Jenaya Talks Caps. Don't forget to click subscribe if you like it. If you don't like it, no need. No pressure at all. Everyone can do what they want. But yeah, as always, it's been an absolute blast. And until next time, babes, let's go Caps.
Let's go, Caps.